Hello, friends. We're back. Welcome to Syracuse Basketball Postgame, presented by Krause Health. To quote the great Lou Brown, the terrific manager, of course, of the Cleveland Indians in the Major League movies, we win 3 in a row. That's called a winning streak. That's been done around here before. And that's what just happened. Syracuse has won 3 straight for the first time this season. The Orange have emerged above 500. The Fighting 500s are now 1 game above 500. They're 12-11, 6-6 in the ACC after a pretty easy day at the Carrier Dome. Syracuse taking care of Louisville. Final score 92-69. And Pete Davidson was in the house. And who cares? Because that guy, don't let the door hit you on the way out, Pete. Don't know what Adam Weissman was thinking bringing that guy. But you're going to go out and trash my town and trash Syracuse, New York. You're not welcome in the Dome, and your attempted truce of some sort, no thanks, not interested. Hope you had a good time, though. And next time you come, bring Kim Kardashian. Like, if you're going to come and you're going to bring Pete, you got to bring Kim. It's just the rules. I don't make up the rules. They just are the rules. But anyway, enough about him. How about Syracuse? So a few games back, friends, Syracuse only scores 53 points against Pittsburgh. Since then, they have been on an offensive onslaught. And here are how the numbers break down. Over the last 3 games, Syracuse is scoring 91.7 points per game. They're shooting 57.1% overall and 54% from three-point range. Once again, all 5 starters were in double figures tonight. And as we break it down here, Jesse Edwards with another terrific game for Syracuse. 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. But the most important stat when it comes to Jesse Edwards, just 1 foul on the day. Buddy Boeheim, 19 points on the day. He's 5 of 9 from three-point range. Cole Swider, quiet based on his last 2 games, but efficient nonetheless. 11 points, 5 rebounds for him. He's 3 of 5 from three-point range. Joe Girard III continues to be an effective offensive pace setter for the Orange. 15 points, 4 assists on the day, couple of steals, 3 of 6 from three-point range. Jimmy Boeheim chipping away with 14 points on the day. Important for Jimmy, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. He's been struggling at the charity stripe, but not in this game. The bench didn't get involved in this one. Symir Torrance, Benny Williams, the walk-ons, Patty Casey. You know, when you're emptying the bench and the human victory cigars are out there, a rare sight in an ACC game, but certainly not today. Syracuse, those are the individual numbers. When you look at the team numbers here, we gave you the averages over the past few games. Today, Syracuse shot 55%, 12 of 23 from three-point range. Louisville countered 10 of 35 from three-point range. That's 28%, and even some of the threes they made, were garbage threes at the end of the game. Syracuse 16 of 19 at the free throw line. They were 32 of 58 overall. That's 55%. Louisville countered 27 of 67. That's 40% on the day. The Orange out rebound, Louisville 35-33. And just looking at a couple other ones, I was impressed by this. Syracuse had 21 assists on the day. They moved the ball really well. Louisville wasn't doing much on the defensive end, frankly, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know this, but Louisville is just in turmoil right now. Syracuse was 16 points off turnovers, by the way, 36-24 winners, points in the paint there. So Louisville, and we'll start highlighting some of your comments here shortly, guys. Always appreciate you coming by. Make sure you tell us where you're watching from today. Louisville's in turmoil. Mike Pegues takes over as the interim coach for Chris Mack, who was fired last week. A month ago today, Louisville was 10-4, 4-0 in the ACC. They have now lost 8 of their last 9 games. They are now 11-12, below 500. There has just been a lot of turmoil, a lot of drama at Louisville. Malik Williams, their best player, wasn't even in Syracuse today. He's been suspended indefinitely, and not only is he their best player, he's a 3-time captain. So, yeah, Syracuse, there's nothing they can do about that. They can't feel bad about that. Louisville actually had played well its last 2 games. They got absolutely screwed against North Carolina the other night. I don't know if you guys saw that game, but the officiating was horrid in that game. Couple of unbelievable calls that went against Louisville at the end. They took Carolina overtime and lost 90-83. Game before that, they only lost by 9 to Duke. So Louisville had actually been playing well, but not today. This was a back and, up and down the court, Syracuse playing with ease. And look, you will take these easy games in ACC play. And listen, guys, I don't want to say anything now, because there's still plenty of basketball to be played here. But is Syracuse going to make this interesting? There's still a couple of big fish out there that they can grab on the quad one situation. They're about to play Boston College 2 out of the next 3 games, right? The rest of the schedule, if I don't know if they can keep up this pace because they are on a torrid offensive pace right now, but even if they can keep up somewhat of this pace, make a little more stops on defense, keep the balanced scoring going, I don't know. They could make this interesting. I don't think they have the resume to get in. I don't know if they can beat some of those good teams down the stretch, but at least the past few games have been fun, high-scoring games. Syracuse kind of knows what it is, and they're piling up points, and that's all you can ask for, right? Particularly that Pittsburgh game we mentioned, a couple other, slogs through the mud that this Syracuse team has had. When they're off, they're off, but when they're on, they're on, and right now they are white hot. Enough of me. Let's hear from you. I like Tom jumping in there. A big Cobra Kai win. No mercy on Louisville today. Jeff says a great balance win for Syracuse today, right? Joe loves the show, but it's always better after a win. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Cold down here in Florida. Go SU. Marty, what would constitute cold in Florida, right? Is it like 70 there today? Dan, I'll just, yep, with you there. Joe, yep, I'll just, I must have pushed the wrong button there. I don't know how that appeared on my screen like that. Double points for the starters again as Michelle chimes in there. Mary Ellen likes that Syracuse came out aggressive and never let up. Nice to see them empty the bench. A much-needed win. Hope they keep it going at this point. Syracuse playing a complete game today on both ends. Keep that momentum rolling, as Matt says here. Allison says, awesome game. Love to see it. You knew they had it in them all along. I just like what Christina says here. Edwards is a stud with great hair. He does have great hair. He's got some solid lettuce going there. That is for sure. But listen, I said it last game, guys. It's over. Give Jesse Edwards the most improved player in the ACC award. Who else could qualify for that? He was really balanced today. What I really liked about Jesse's game was, he can score inside when he's given room. Made some great passes out there. We know he can defend. Only picked up 1 foul on the day, and he didn't even get that until there was like 10 minutes to go in the game. I just like the round out balanced game that we're seeing from Jesse. Now he's going to see some stiffer competition down the stretch here. He's had a couple of, I don't want to say easy. There's nothing easy in the ACC, but NC State was missing Manny Bates and their starting center, Malik Williams. Huge loss for Louisville. I think he would have given a little bit more of a challenge to Jesse today, but all that does is benefit Jesse because he's developing as a player. He's getting solid, confident reps in. Most improved player in the ACC. And per the comment we highlighted there, I think we need to create a best hair award for Jesse Edwards. And I think he would clearly take that one here. Brian says, hard to tell if it's fool's gold or not, playing some bottom half ACC teams. Don't forget, though, they played Wake Forest as well. That's a fair point in that. Let's look at the 3-game winning streak. First 3-game streak for Syracuse this year. Wake Forest, good team, top-end ACC team, top 3 defensive team. NC State has kind of gone back and forth. They've got a losing record. They are at the bottom of the ACC in terms of defense, but they shot 16 3-pointers against Syracuse and a much closer game. A much closer game on Tuesday night. Syracuse eventually pulls away down the stretch and wins 89-82. No trouble today with the Louisville team, who I mentioned it just gave Duke and North Carolina a real run for their money. So it's a fair point. The ACC is really off this year from what it usually is, but you're not beating the true bottom of the barrel here. You beat a couple of sub 500 teams and a top 3 or 4 ACC teams. So interesting balance there. But fair point, Brian, in that you got to see what they do. There's a few meaty games left on the schedule, notably Miami at the end of the year and Duke, of course, coming up in a couple of weeks at the Carrier Dome. You just can't stub your toe against the Boston Colleges of the world and some of the teams you absolutely should beat. And I felt like this was a game Syracuse should beat. Tell you what, Vegas knows, man. And this opened up as a 7.5-point favorite. I kind of did the old scratch my head here. Vegas trying to get you to move the money one way or the other, but hashtag Vegas knows. Shout out to my guy Jordan on that one. Let's see. Jamie wants to know, do we know what Williams did to get suspended? I talked yesterday, Jamie, with Jeff Greer. Jeff is a terrific writer who covers Louisville, and he said there's just been a lot of philosophical changes. Remember, he's a 3-time captain, and I don't know all the specifics and the details here, but he did something in practice this week that Mike Pegues, the interim coach and assistant coach at Louisville, did not like did not felt set the tone leadership wise and said, you can't play if that's going to be the case. So it's got to be pretty serious if you're going to bench your 3-time captain, because you got to stabilize what's a rocky ship right now. And also your leading scorer and rebounder. Now, he was at 10 points per game. Louisville is a much more balanced team than Syracuse. They play a lot of their bench, 17th in the country in bench minutes, where Syracuse, as we know, relies heavily on their starters, 357th in the country in bench minutes. But you need all hands on deck if you're Louisville right now when your best player can't get out there. Certainly a serious situation there. We'll see if he gets back out there. Bills down in Nashville. Is great win. Been a fan since the 70s, wondering where this team has been. Moving the ball, making the extra pass. The assists these last 3 games have been the most all season. Defense has been good enough. And finally, moving to slow down the opponent's offense. Keep it up. And Bill, you bring up a valid point in that, look, Syracuse, we know, is going to win, lose, draw, everything in between based on their offense, but you got to make a few stops. Louisville didn't overwhelm me nor overwhelm anybody in this game, but Syracuse made stops in this game. Some true blue defensive stops. We mentioned Jesse and his defense, a couple other great defensive plays. Let me backtrack into the defensive stats while we're talking about it here. So Syracuse had, 3 blocks, 9 steals. That's making stops. That's something you typically don't see from Syracuse. Keith checking in from Georgia. Appreciate that, sir. Jack says, why was the Louisville coach fired? Jack, Chris Mack came in with a lot of hype. Great coach at Xavier. He just lost touch with the team. There was an investigation down there. I feel like there's an investigation every year at Louisville, it seems. But one of his assistant coaches tried to extort him. He was actually cleared of anything there, but just lost touch with the team. Malik Williams, speaking of which, was asked after one of Chris Mack's last games if he had lost the team, and his comment was basically like, no comment, right? I can't speak to that. But simple as that. Chris Mack realized he lost the team, told his agent, I got to get out of here. They negotiated a buyout. Boom. Goodbye. Must be nice to get paid to be bad at your job, right? I got to put that in my contract. Save your jokes on that. I walked into that one if you make them, though. I really don't blame you. So that's really what happened. Just lost touch with the team, had a good agent, and got the nice parachute on out of there. Let's see. Paula says that Edwards didn't play a lot last year. Now he's great. Hopefully Benny will use the summer to improve, come back better. I don't think it's the coach. I think Benny needs to grow. And Paula, I think you're dead on there. A number of times Benny Williams has said he's buying in. He believes in the coaches. He's developing as a player. He has flat out said he's not ready for bigger minutes. This is not a Kadari Richmond situation last year where, he was playing a lot of minutes. Don't get me wrong. He was playing 22 minutes a game. But Benny gets it. And I think we should embrace that. I think fans should embrace the fact that this kid understands his role. He's not ready for a bigger role. And you make a great analogy with Jesse Edwards. Jesse was Benny last year. The free Jesse hashtags were out there. You guys here in the comments and, everywhere. My radio show, my Twitter feed, play Jesse more. And I think Syracuse fans force some players out there when they're not ready. And I get it. It's the intrigue. It's the mystery of who's down the bench. Benny's a 5-star guy. Not his fault that he's a 5-star guy, by the way. He didn't give himself that title, but those players come with more accolades and more expectations. Well, not every 5-star or 4-star, no matter what you want to label him, comes out of the box ready to go. So I think Jesse's a great example of a player who, and by the way, Jesse, is the definition of project. Comes from the Netherlands, didn't play a lot of high school basketball, transferred from being a soccer player because he had a huge growth spurt. And look at him now. He is just locked in. Certainly, as we brought up earlier, the most improved player in the ACC. And when he comes back next year, that kid could be the all-ACC center. Benny went through the system, went through AAU ball, went through basketball in a traditional sense, if you will, and is making the transition to college and isn't quite ready to make that impact. And I think we just kind of have to trust that process in his case. With Kadari, it's a shame that didn't work out, but it didn't. And maybe everybody's better off where they are now. So I think when people really push for a guy like Benny, each case is different. And you got to listen to the kid and you got to listen to all involved. And everybody involved has been like, look, he's a project right now. And game like this, where he gets some quality minutes in an ACC game, played last game before that, it's that experience and that buildup that he's getting there. Benny's just got to find that thing that makes him stand out, right? That one thing, like Symir Torrance can come in, change the pace on offense, distribute, gets a lot of assists, runs the offense. Frank Anselm, I think, is the primary backup for Jesse, but had 2 great dunks, can attack the rim. He's getting better on defense, can block some shots, right? Benny doesn't have that one thing that he's really good at. He's just kind of average or good at a lot of things. He's got to find the thing he's great at that separates him, but he's going to get in there, folks. That he's too talented not to, but everybody develops at a different rate. And those of you that made the reference to Jesse certainly brought up a good point, because as Dale points out here, if Jesse keeps improving and puts on some muscle, I see him as a 2nd-round pick. And that's the big thing too. They've been trying, Dale. Some of these guys, Marek Dolzhai was in the same situation, right? There's just, man, if we could have that metabolism again, right? All those kids eating what they want, when they want. And of course, when you're working out and you're going at a high rate of practice, burning all those calories every day, it's hard to put on weight, right? Some people are just not built that way. You can lift weights until the cows come home. It's just some people have a harder time putting on the bulk than others, but he's working on it, and he certainly needs to get bigger. And once he does, he's already gained about 20 pounds, by the way, so it's not like it isn't working. But once he gets that full kind of ACC weight, if you will, he needs to be at, he's going to be unbelievable. Not that he's not now. He's just a fantastic player to watch and a pleasure to watch right now. As Michelle notes here, not in a position on D yet, rushing to get back better on offense, but needs the work. Yeah, as Michelle also needs more pizza. Great story, by the way. If you didn't check it out, please do. Syracuse.com, my friend Charlie Miller, he gets all the fun assignments. I want to be Charlie Miller when I grow up, because he gets to go to all the fun assignments. He had a great story and a video this week you guys should check out. Shout out to Mario and Salvo's, best pizza place in Syracuse. They're the official post-game pizza of Syracuse basketball. And Charlie went over and did a story. Shout out to my guy Gus over there at Mario and Salvo's, and we kind of saw the process of how this team gets their post-game meal made and what each player likes after every game. And it was interesting. It was really interesting and a cool local story. So for those of you watching from outside of Central New York, maybe you don't know about that, or so Mario and Salvo's has become like the official post-game pizza for Syracuse, because players get into habits that, not that, Syracuse is 12-11, not that they've won all these games, but I believe they won a game after they got it, and they just kept going with it. And there was a fun video. Shout out to my guy Tommy Hogan. Took Jim Boeheim stealing a slice of pizza from Jimmy Boeheim earlier this year. I don't know if you guys caught that. That was pretty funny. So anyway, cool local story. But yeah, it just brings to mind, you can eat all the pizza you want, and sometimes you just you bulk up at a slower rate, particularly when you're that tall like Jesse is. But man, he is where he needs to be. So guys, I don't know. Let's look at that. Let's look at that schedule. All right. A man can dream, right? A fan base can dream. I don't think this team is anywhere near an NCAA tournament resume right now. This is different than in past years, right? Because you've got some bad non-conference losses, Colgate and Georgetown, notably. Georgetown's terrible now. What a shame that is, by the way. It's 431 in Georgetown. Yeah, you guys got it. Not enough quality wins. Losing to Villanova hurt this team. The ACC is down. There's just not as many opportunities for quad one wins, but I don't know, guys. Is this team going to make a run? They're going to do this to us again. They're going to be right there. So let's look ahead. Syracuse goes to Boston College Tuesday. That helps you in no way, shape, or form. BC's terrible. You go to Virginia Tech after that. At one point, a quad one win. At one point, a quality one win. But Virginia Tech's kind of fallen off the map. So you got 2 take care of business wins if you get them on the road. Okay. Syracuse then comes home for Boston College on February 19th, a couple Saturdays from now. So you get BC a couple of times, Virginia Tech. Georgia Tech, rescheduled game. Look how busy Syracuse is going to be in this stretch, by the way. So you play Boston College at home February 19th on a Saturday. Monday night matchup against Georgia Tech, which, remember, is a made-up game. They were supposed to play that one earlier this season. Wednesday night, you go to Notre Dame. Quick turnaround there. Come back on Saturday the 26th, 2 days later, essentially, because the game's at night against Notre Dame, right? And you play Duke. You can beat Duke. I don't know. But I don't think they can beat Duke, even as well as they're playing right now. You go to UNC, and then what didn't look like, a sexy home game to finish out the season, given that Miami was picked to finish 12th in the ACC, all of a sudden becomes a pretty sexy home game. Senior day for Buddy Boeheim, for Jimmy Boeheim, and could be a big win for Syracuse. Now, they've got to get much better on defense. They've got to keep this torrid pace up on offense. But look, we know that Syracuse can just flat out outscore anybody they play, anybody. Maybe short of Duke, but on a good day at the Dome, 30,000 people going crazy. Can they get into this kind of offensive pace and stay with that team? I don't think so. But look, it's college basketball and things swing your way. Emotionally, intangibles, we've seen crazier things happen before, right? So at the very least, guys and gals, at least this team is playing better. They're fun to watch. There are some dreadful games that we have seen this year. People were, and I didn't blame you. I mean, this team almost fell 3 games below 500 at one point. They've been teetering that line all year. The record isn't what it should be. The expectations are not there. They're basically the fighting 500s are fighting to be a winning team this year. But if they can go on a run and go on a streak and pick up a couple quality wins, at the very least, if they go into the ACC tournament playing their best, can somebody pop up the meme? You're telling me we got a chance? I mean, I don't think so. I'm not going to predict it. I just don't think. I think they dug themselves way too big of a hole to get out of here. But hashtag sports, baby. And Syracuse they're like a horror movie. Michael Myers, right? Pops up from the floor just when you think he's dead. So I don't know, guys. But at the very least, they're playing well. They're fun to watch. They're scoring in bunches. And we talked about Jesse, but to see other players developing and to see this team coming around here, it's been interesting. So that's what's up ahead. Not a lot of interesting games up ahead, but take care of business games for Syracuse for sure. And, Louisville, as we mentioned, came in down program and rebuilding and the season falling apart at the seams. Those are the breaks, man. Syracuse, timing is everything. And Syracuse has its timing, has its offensive rhythm here. And we'll see if they can continue to at least stay in the conversation and keep things interesting, because there was a point there where it was veering off the highway and it didn't look like this team would even be interesting to watch down the stretch, but they certainly are at this point. So what do you say we end the show there for today, friends? Great stuff from you guys. Always appreciate you watching here. So as we noted next time we will meet, will be Tuesday night, Syracuse at Boston College. That's an 8:00 tip time. So we'll be right here with you if you're watching live on Syracuse Orange Sports on YouTube, on Facebook as well. If you missed the show live, don't forget you can find an archive version of it on both of these places. The YouTube clip is in my recap on syracuse.com. We'll fire it off on our social media channels, so make sure you're following all that so you can catch the show on replay if you do miss it live. But thanks for being here live. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. No football this weekend unless you count the Pro Bowl. I mean, I don't count the Pro Bowl. Some people watch the Pro Bowl. I don't know, but we'll meet again Tuesday night, and it'll be Super Bowl week and a lot of things going on. And Syracuse basketball fans, at the very least, in a better mood today. And Pete Davidson, don't let the door hit you on the way out. But thanks for coming by. Thanks for coming by to you as well for watching the show, friends. Presented by Krause Health. We'll talk to you again Tuesday night. Orange victorious tonight, 92-69 over Louisville.